What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Horseshoe. My name is Matt, and today we're doing a live mock draft. Each of us will be giving our first round mock drafts today. One person had trades included, and some of us didn't have trades included because, I just didn't think about doing trades when I did mine, but that's okay. I'm going to introduce everybody as they appear on my screen. First off, I'm going to introduce everybody's, what is it now, 30th favorite dad in these leagues. It's Papa West. Papa, how you doing? Oh, I removed him. Now he's in. Papa, how you doing?
About to say, it's weird that you're going to want me to talk and it's still your face, but I am doing great. Yeah, my number fluctuates. I normally say 38th, but the rankings haven't actually come in, so there's nothing canon yet. So I'm whatever number you want me to be.
Alrighty. And right next to him, he is the Raptor. It's Jonathan Peck. Jonathan, how you doing? As I removed him again. What the heck? See, I haven't done this, moving to different full screen cameras in quite a while. So forgive me for that.
It's okay. It's all right. Very good, Matt. Very good. That's the reason. And this might be the third favorite time of year besides Christmas and my birthday, draft season. So I can't wait to get myself mock draft. Some very interesting picks and trades, all that stuff, and make sure to prove and maybe get right or wrong. So prove me wrong, players, teammates, owners, all that stuff.
Absolutely. So I do know that we have different types of mock drafts after we get past pick number 2. There's many picks where all of our picks are completely different, as my dogs freak out upstairs. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I've seen these guys' drafts before, and here's I'm going to pronounce your first name wrong. Hassan, how you doing? How you doing, my guy? So I'm going to go around the table. How I'm going to do it is I have a photo of each of our first 10 picks. I'm going to start off with Papa, then Jonathan, me, and then when we get to pick 11 to 20, I'll go to Jonathan. 21 to 32, I'll go to myself first. So I'm going to pull up Papa's mock draft first as my mouse decides to quit on me. Here we go. So I'm going to read them off, then I'm going to go to Papa, have him explain why he has these guys, where he has them. So let's pull it up. No surprise. Number 1 pick is going to be Trevor Lawrence. At pick number 2, he has the Jets taking Zach Wilson. At pick 3, he has the 49ers taking Mac Jones. At pick 4, he has the Falcons taking Kyle Pitts. At pick 5, he has the Bengals taking Penei Sewell. Pick 6, he has the Dolphins taking Jamar Chase. Pick 7, he has the Lions taking Jalen Waddle. At pick 8, he has Rashad Slater going to the Panthers. Pick 9, he has the Broncos taking Makaya Parsons. And number 10 is Kwity Paye. So I do want to start off with your first, or I guess the first pick that's going to be different than ours, and that's Mac Jones to the 49ers. Why do you have Mac Jones to the 49ers?
Mac Jones to the 49ers. He's kind of been the one that I thought the 49ers were going to take all along back when they were at, number 10, 12, whatever number they were.
I think they were 12, yeah.
Just because he fits in that scheme. And then, of course, you have that trade, all the talk of Mac Jones's, or with, what's his name, Zach Wilson, who I originally thought was going to be available at number 3. Mm-hmm. I was really thinking that the Jets were going to pull a surprise and pick up either Kyle Pitts or one of the receivers. And then they decided to get rid of Sam Darnold. So there's no other quarterback on that team. So they're definitely going to pick Zach Wilson. And so it's just everything that I've heard, Mac Jones is the guy. And plus he fits in Kyle Shanahan's system. He looks a lot like Matt Ryan. So that was really my thought process for Mac Jones going there.
Okay. And then I do also want to kind of point out Kwity Paye to the Cowboys. I know a lot of people have the Cowboys taking a corner here, but why do you think they go Kwity Paye?
Just because that whole defense needs work, and so there are definitely some good defenders to pick up. I just think Kwity Paye is the best available defender that is available at that point.
Okay. And then I guess the last one, I know some people think the Falcons might take a quarterback. I know Kyle Pitts has definitely been somebody who has been brought up for the Falcons lately. But why do you think Kyle Pitts is the best fit for them there at number 4?
This is another what are the Falcons going to do? Because Matt Ryan is 37 years old.
Yeah,
He's
36
played
or
at an
37.
MVP. Yeah, he's played at an MVP level. He's played god awful. And then this is the year of the quarterbacks. But the Falcons are known for making questionable decisions. Me personally, if I was in charge of that organization, I would work on building the defense.
Yeah.
But also Matt Ryan, he had some great games last
True.
season, so I'm not quite ready to give up on him yet. But you look at that number 4 pick, Kyle Pitts, that tight end. Todd McShay flat out said this is the best tight end he has ever evaluated. It's a once in a generation talent, especially at that position. So why not just give Matt Ryan another weapon? Just say, hey, we're all in this year, and then we'll start looking at his replacement.
Absolutely. And then the last one I want to point out before we go to Jonathan's top 10, Makaya Parsons to the Broncos. Assuming the Broncos stay at number 9, why do you think this is the best fit for them? Because I know they've been rumored to take a quarterback as well.
Yeah. Now, Von Miller is an amazing player, and they had that great defense with him, and then Bradley Chubb. It was very scary, but he of course missed all of last season with a foot injury, and there was that talk of releasing him. I for the life of me don't remember if he's still on the team or not. I'm pretty sure he is, but I forgot to look at that. Yeah.
Oh, it's contract a bit.
Yeah, but just that seeing Micah Parsons on there watching some tape with him at Penn State, just adding that extra level in that defense, because the defense did struggle a lot last year.
Yeah.
Granted, Von Miller was out, so that definitely did not help. But that would just be a really good fit to also add some depth to that defense. And I don't think they're quite ready to give up on Drew Lock, but that's also one of the ones I don't see the Broncos staying at number 9. I definitely see them using that for trade bait to move back, which really in the grand scheme of things, if they move back, they could still pick up Micah Parsons. But of all the available defenders, I think he's the best fit on their defense, especially strengthening up that front 7.
Absolutely. All right. So next we're going to pull up Jonathan's top 10 real quick. I was just adding tags to the video. But before I do, I'm going to pull up some more comments. I do agree. I really do want Tevin Jenkins to be available. I don't agree, or I don't believe we are going to get him, though. And you'll see where I have him actually going when my mock draft appears in a second. And he agrees with you, Papa. He does agree with you with Makaya Parsons. So now I'm going to pull up Jonathan's first 10 picks real quick, and then we'll go over it. So at pick number 1, no surprise, Trevor Lawrence. Pick number 2 is Zach Wilson. He has Justin Fields going number 3, and then he has a trade with the Broncos going up to number 4. They get Trey Lance. And then he has Penei Sewell going number 5. Number 6, he has Jamar Chase. 7, he has Makaya Parsons. At 8, he has Kyle Pitts. At 9, he has Kwity Paye. And number 10, he has Patrick Surtain. So I do want to go ahead and I want to pull up your picks. My dog freaks out upstairs. The first one I want to have you discuss is Justin Fields at number 3. Why do you think Justin Fields is going to be the quarterback that ultimately gets picked up at 3?
I'm going back to what Papa West said about Kyle Shanahan's scheme with quarterbacks, though. Like, think of many quarterbacks that he has worked with before he becomes a coach. Like, Rashad with the Texans was arguably his best year. He was the OC for my Washington football team with RG3's rookie year. And even when he's out, he works very well with Kirk Cousins. So, arguably, sort of his best uses as the OC using the mechanics with RG3's rookie year. And then, excluding maybe Cleveland, though, but to be fair, he didn't win Johnny Football League, so scratch that out. And even was the OC of Atlanta when Matt Ryan had his MVP year and led them to the Super Bowl. So, even with San Francisco, he worked very well with Jimmy Garoppolo along with it and took him to the Super Bowl, of course, though. And I think the reason why I picked Justin Fields to go to San Francisco because they needed something sort of a missing piece, a piece that can maybe elevate it instead of some of the defense to kind of help them out. Because some of the big drawbacks of their Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs, though, because they didn't have Jimmy G, basically elevate some of the games along with it. And well, it does. Jimmy G does move around, and I'm not saying he's not a bad quarterback, though. They needed something that elevates some of the position is to get back to the Super Bowl again, or someone at least in more perfectly when the Shanahan scheme along with it. That's the reason why I take Justin Fields, because not only works very well and great mobility behind the pocket along with it, I think he might be the best person to control the offense along with it. And plus, you got pretty much weapons around him with George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, rest of the receiving core, and it's pretty sturdy on line, though. And I think, and a little known fact about Justin Fields, though, because before he went to college, he went to sort of the QB kit with the Shanahan's go-to, along with Sean McVay. So he's known Kyle Shanahan a very long time, and you've seen the photo of him and Kyle Shanahan on his second pro day, though. You can tell they have a great rapport. So if they going to draft him along with it, I do think they have a great rapport that can work the offense very well. And also, you don't kind of trade like 2 first-round picks or a quarterback like with Mac Jones right here. And I'd say Mac Jones is not a bad player, but it's a bit of a stretch of like you trade up like that, half your draft capital to get a guy like that. So when they get Justin Fields, though, it makes sense, though. So regardless if it starts right now, I don't think so. He will start right now. I mean, Jimmy G's still there, so at least it'll still be possible. So that's the reason why I take Justin Fields at 3 for San Francisco. Muted.
Sorry about that. Dogs were barking for a while, so that's why I had myself muted. Didn't want them to take over the stream. But the next one I'll pull up is the Broncos trading up and getting Trey Lance. Why do you think they trade up, and why do you have them selecting Trey Lance as their guy?
My thing with the Broncos is this, though, because mentioned with some of the issues, some of the big problems with Denver last year, though, is mainly their QB. And also, even with that, though, because last year they had majority got weapons. They finally got some key pieces around it. The only thing that's kind of keep holding them back, though, is Drew Lock. Well, he showed some problems like 2019 with some submitted games when they finally got some huge weapons around him to try to elevate that. He didn't elevate around with it. So that's the reason why I see the Broncos can be very aggressive to maybe trade up in the draft to get a QB, especially with John Elway is not going to be the GM anymore. George Payton's going to be. And basically, he signed like a 6-year contract. So basically, it's going to be a long-term ability. And he's going to draft his guy the way he wanted to help with the team now. So he didn't draft Drew Lock. So he's going to pay an opportunity to draft his own guy with that pick.
Okay. And then,
and I forgot one last thing. And the reason why I had to travel with Atlanta because I think that they still have more needs, and we'll get to the other pick with Atlanta, but they had some more picks to fill out some of the holes. So that's the reason why.
Okay. And then for the Lions, you have them taking Makaya Parsons instead of a receiver. So I guess I want to ask you why you have them taking Makaya Parsons.
Makaya Parsons is really the best linebacker in this class. And the reason why I put him in the Lions because they are basically rebuilding mode. So, and basically they got a couple first-round picks with the Rams. So I don't think they will take him sort of with QB receiver yet. So basically I'm going to take him with the other essential pieces around that team as to get linebacker first. Though. Even though Parsons themselves even will admit it had some questionable character concerns. Even the Hazen incident a few years back in Penn State, though, might draft some of his stock. But I do think the coach like Dan Campbell with bunch of sneak camps, no pun intended, and to basically kind of coach him up a bit and basically elevate some of that defense.
Okay. And then you actually have Kyle Pitts falling to number 8. So why do you have Kyle Pitts going number 8 to the Panthers?
You mentioned with Sam Darnold, if you're going to stick with Sam Darnold for a year, at least you're going to have him with some weapons around him. So that's the reason why I took Kyle Pitts along with that. So I might give him at least some of the weapons, plus Chris McCaffrey helping with the backfield, even some receiving thing, even with Robbie Anderson. So I think if you might want to add someone, maybe a tight end, Jordan Carolina. So.
Absolutely. And then you have the Falcons taking Kwity Paye after they trade back. Why do you think they take Kwity Paye?
Atlanta's basically its biggest issue was their defense was horrible, and basically they couldn't always hold it down. So I think the maybe best way not only trade back and get some more picks along with that, but get someone to help them with their knee line with Kwity Paye along with it. So that's the reason I picked him to help him out with the defense. If granted, it's a little question with Matt Ryan there. Granted, Matt Ryan's in his 30s, but I don't think it will get that old yet. He still had 2 or 3 years left, so I think the resource whole time we use him left where he got. So that's the reason why I took them maybe stick with defense.
Okay. And then now we'll go to my number 1 through 10. Just letting you guys know, I have all the picks already. I know what the picks are going to be. So this is spoilers for how the draft's going to go, FYI. So no surprise, 1 and 2, Trevor Lawrence at 1, Zach Wilson at 2. Even though I think it would be hilarious if they take like Zach Wilson at number 1 instead. That way they just completely mess with everybody, because I did see you sent to me, Jonathan, that he's going to be at AEW. So they're going to build this whole thing up and actually take Zach Wilson instead. But I don't think that's going to be the case. Trevor Lawrence 1, Zach Wilson 2. I actually have Trey Lance going number 3, and I'll explain why in a minute. Number 4, I have the Falcons taking Kyle Pitts. 5, Penei Sewell going to the Bengals. At 6, I got Jamar Chase. 7, I have Jalen Waddle. At number 8, I got Rashawn Slater. Number 9, I have Justin Fields. And number 10, I have Patrick Surtain. So I do want to get into why I have Trey Lance going number 3. The reason why I have him going number 3 is I do believe they're going to stick it out at least one more season with Jimmy Garoppolo. Not a great contract. And Trey Lance, I think sitting a year in that Shanahan system is going to really benefit him. And I think out of anybody, he has the most to gain when he's in that offense. Very Josh Allen-like to me anyway. So I think he sits for a year. Next year they'll get rid of Garoppolo and put in Trey Lance. I almost went quarterback with the Falcons because Matt Ryan is 36. However, he does have 2 years, I believe, on his contract that are like $40 million, so they're stuck with him. So I think they'll go Kyle Pitts this year because, I mean, Kyle Pitts is going to be a monster. And there's, some quarterbacks you can go after next year. And then, I think the Lions take a receiver because, they don't have a receiver for Jared Goff. Jared Goff needs a number 1 receiver. So I think Jalen Waddle can definitely be that guy. Super explosive when he has the ball. Panthers take Slater, gives them some protection. I have the Broncos taking Justin Fields at 9 because Justin Fields did come out and he has epilepsy or whatever the heck it's called. He can get some seizures. It's something he's battling. I don't think it's going to be something that will affect him through his entire career, but I think just based on how NFL managers and GMs and all that stuff act, I think that's actually going to drop him. And I think with the Broncos, they're willing to take that chance because I still believe Drew Lock can be pretty decent in the NFL. There was a lot of injuries. He lost his number 1 guy last year receiving wise. Didn't play great, but still, I think, they're going to at least give him another year. And if he's not great, you might as well take Justin Fields because he probably would be the number 1 pick in a lot of different drafts. Honestly, if it wasn't for that thing that he's going through right now, I would put him over Zach Wilson. I think he's better than Zach Wilson. The dude played with like broken ribs against Clemson in the playoffs and killed them. So this guy, he's the type of quarterback you want on the team. He's got the skill, the ability. He's my number 2 quarterback, but I do think just because NFL teams take a lot of things way too serious, I think that's going to drop him a little bit. So that's why I have him there. And then Patrick Surtain. Cowboys need help in the secondary. That's why I have them going Surtain. So now we're going to get to our pick 11 through 20s. I'm going to go to Jonathan's first. We'll go through his. So at pick 11, he has Jalen Waddle going to the Giants. At number 12, he has Devontae Smith going to the Eagles. At 13, he has Rashad Slater going to the Chargers. He has Jalen Phillips going 14 to the Vikings. Mac Jones going 15 to the Patriots. J.C. Horn going 16 to the Cardinals. Christian Darrisaw going 17 to the Raiders. Elijah Vera Tucker going 18 to the Dolphins. Jeremiah Osua Koromora. I can never get that second name right, even though I'm a Notre Dame guy. Going to the football team, and the Bears taking Tevin Jenkins. So I do want to start off. Why do you think, or why do you have Jalen Waddle, I guess, ahead of Devontae Smith on the overall rankings?
I think the thing about that is Waddle was a better receiver around that time last season than Devontae Smith before he got injured. So that's the reason I had him up there. And also, I think some boards might have him higher than Devontae Smith. So that's the reason I'm going with that, right? And also, the reason why I picked him to the Giants because I think they need another weapon along with it. I was torn between him during there or maybe Rashad Slater along with it because they do need some adjustment to the offensive line. So don't be surprised they take another receiver to help build a receiving core along with the Giants group. So along with Kenny Galladay and Evan Ingram along with that. So that's the reason why I picked him to go to the Giants.
All right, and then the next guy I want to bring up is you have Rashawn Slater actually falling to 13. I know he's projected to potentially be a top 10 pick. Why do you think he falls, and ultimately, why do you have the Chargers taking him?
Easy. Just potential with Justin Herbert. So, and even Herbert played great in his rookie year, played great for a QB. And also, one of the big benefactors is he has a bottom-ranked offensive line, which is horrible. And I think the best way to protect your asset is get a tackle to help them out with it. So I decided to have him join with Rashawn Slater to help him out with that so he won't get killed.
Okay. And I'm pretty high on Jalen Phillips myself, but I know Jalen Phillips had some injury concerns. That's why some people think he could potentially fall. But for you, why do you think the Vikings take that opportunity, even though he has those concerns?
Vikings' big issue last season is their defense. Pretty much is, his injuries, but it was during mostly their run block team on their defense. That's the reason is one of their biggest problems along with it. So that's the reason I had them taking Jalen Phillips. I was actually between him or his Miami teammate with Gregory Rousseau. So either or one of these guys will help them well to elevate some of the defense. And Mike Zimmer is a very defensive heavy coach. So I wouldn't be surprised you take one of those guys in the draft.
Absolutely. And then the last guy I want to bring up really quick, you have J.C. Horn going to the Cardinals. I know, Caleb Farley is still out there right now. I haven't seen him on your list yet. So why do you have J.C. Horn going over Caleb Farley?
I think it's a bit of a question mark. So with Caleb Farley, and basically he has sort of his injured back. And I was very conflicted about it. All I do know is Arizona need a corner since Patrick Peterson didn't resign him, just was signed to Minnesota. So they need to find a very good replacement. So I had to pick someone with analytically maybe fit some of their scheme. That's the reason I took J.C. Horn to help them with their boost out their secondary. I was between that or maybe get another edge defender to elevate some of the defense. So that is one of their main flaws that layer second half there last year after they started like 6-3. And basically they need to fix some of the areas and don't have that same problem come up again.
All righty. And then now we'll go to my pick 11 to 20. And this is where it starts getting a little crazy. Not sure how you'll react to this pick, Jacob, but I have a strong feeling this is going to happen. So at number 11, I actually had Devontae Smith going to the Giants. At 12, I think Mac Jones is going to the Eagles. I'll explain why. 13, Christian Darrisaw going to the Chargers. 14, I also have Jalen Phillips going to the Vikings. At 15, because Mac Jones is no longer available, Patriots are going to get some help in the secondary with J.C. Horn. At 16, I have Caleb Farley going to the Cardinals. At 17, I have Elijah Vera Tucker going to the Raiders. At 18, I have the Dolphins taking Kwity Paye. At 19, I have the football team taking Makaya Parsons. And the Bears taking Tevin Jenkins. So I understand my pick 12 is something that not a lot of Eagles fans want. This is, and I'll give my reason. They did say in Philadelphia that it is an open competition. Granted, they have Joe Flacco, but I do not believe that they think Joe Flacco can truly be QB number 1 anymore. I think with Mac Jones, he has that national championship he's coming off of. He had big numbers in college. I think this is somebody that the Eagles will take a chance on because I'll be honest, I didn't think that Jalen Hurts was all that great last year. I understand the team wasn't in the best position health-wise, but still, I thought after that first game, there were some things that made me think maybe not number 1 quarterback right there. But I think they're going to take a chance on Mac Jones. I know he had a couple of weird passes in his pro day, but the guy's, he's quick, smart, good footwork. I think this guy is going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. I think he potentially could be that franchise guy that a team wants. And the Eagles might go after that, even though there are bigger needs. But I think those needs can be filled up in the second and third round. I have Jalen Phillips also going to the Vikings. I think, yes, there is concern with the injuries. He did retire already once. However, I think the guy's talent is just too much to pass on because I agree. The Vikings' biggest need is that defensive line. Jalen Phillips will immediately elevate that defensive line and make it much better. Patriots need help in the secondary. So that's why I honestly think they go J.C. Horn. And even if Mac Jones is available, I don't know if they go Mac Jones. Reason why I say that is because I think they want to really give Cam Newton one more year. And if he stinks, then you can get rid of him. And then you can just draft one of the quarterbacks next year. If he really stinks, just bench him, put your worst quarterback in, and just fall to like a top 3 pick. And then you can take a stud quarterback, even though we all know that's not going to happen because Belichick does not tank. Caleb Farley, injury concerns, yes. Cardinals, I think their biggest need right now is secondary, so they take care of that. Raiders need offensive lineman help. They got rid of everybody besides one guy, so they need the help. So that's why I think they go there. Kwity Paye, he's going to be available. He's too good to pass up, I think, for the Dolphins here. And yes, Makaya Parsons, I think he falls because there are some, issues that some teams may not be the biggest fan of with him. However, I agree, Washington needs linebacker help. So they're going to take care of that with Makaya Parsons. Got to obviously, take care of that issue, and he's probably the best linebacker. If not, it's JOK. And then the Bears need offensive lineman help. So before we get to Jacobs, I do want to go to your guys' thoughts because this has players, I guess, or these has both your teams on this list. Obviously, Jacob's an Eagles fan, and Jonathan is a Washington fan. So I want to go to Jacob first. Do you think that Mac Jones potentially gets taken, assuming nobody trades up for him?
Matt, you are crazy.
So is Howie
but that's
Roseman.
Okay. No, Howie Roseman is horrible at drafting, so I could definitely see it happen, and especially with Sirianni, not saying anyone starting at this point. It's making you wonder, hey, What does he know that we don't? And I totally agree. Jalen Hurts had an okay year last year. Not great. His biggest thing, he had one win against the Saints. Great, great team to get a win against. But then he couldn't do any of that magic against anyone else they played, which they played the Washington football team. I believe they played the Cowboys, like teams that you have to beat, but they just could not get it done.
Right. But, like I said, look, if you guys get Mac Jones, not ideal, especially when, I would say corner and receiver are probably bigger needs, but still, you get Mac Jones. I honestly think that makes the quarterback room a little better. And what's going on, Colts Nation? How you doing? Now I do want to go to Jonathan real quick, and then we'll go to Jacob for his 11 to 20. I have Makaya Parsons dropping. If he drops to 19, what's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on it. I'm most split on two opinions on this. On the one hand, he is legit the best linebacker in the draft. And honestly, if he had him on your defense, along with that front four on our defense, we're guaranteed to become the number one defense. It's not even close. We were second ranked last season behind the LA Rams. We were that good. And even some people predicted that they're legit a defense level team, kind of like the 2011 07 Giants. We were that good though. So if we draft him along with it, if he falls, it'll be good. But also, the other hand, I had to sit down and think of if there was just basing the incident with the Hastings up back in Penn State. To be fair, he was a very young kid at the time, so basically he's grown on that. And I mean, that's a little bit concerning along with that. So we were trying to get a culture-free thing. It's possible to try to get rid of some toxicity in our team. So it's a little bit concerning if he doesn't clear out the start his act. So that's a bit concerning if they kind of try and treat him normally. So that's the one concern I had with it. So that's my take on it.
Okay. And I can't see hazing anybody in NFL because when you have Chase Young in the locker room, that's not going to happen. And Ron Rivera, he'll kick your ass if you do anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Ron Rivera for he is Ron Rivera for a reason. So I'm now going to go right, but I'm going to go to Jacob's 11 to 20 now, and then we'll go to our last 12 picks. So at pick 11, Jacob has Christian Darrisaw going to the Giants, and then at number 12 he has Devontae Smith going to the Eagles. 13, Caleb Farley going to the Chargers. At 14, he has Azeez Ojulari going to the Vikings. At 15, Trey Lance to North Dakota State. Then Patrick Surtain to the Cardinals. Then the Raiders go for J.C. Horn. Then the Dolphins get Elijah Vera-Tucker. And then Jason Owe to the football team. And the Bears taking Rondell Moore. So I do want to go to your picks real quick, and I'll pull them up on my phone. That way, there we go. That way I don't screw up anybody's mock drafts. But the first one I bring up is you actually have the Giants going for Darrisaw at number 11. Why do you have Darrisaw going as high as you do?
Am I the only person who thinks that the Giants have too many receivers at this point? We already have Steve Slayton. I can't think of their slot receiver at the moment either. Evan Ingram at tight end. They pick up Kenny Galladay. They picked up another receiver whose name's slipping me too, and then Kyle Rudolph. They don't need receivers.
Right.
But they've definitely been stepping up their offense. One thing that they definitely need to work on is an offensive line. And really, Christian Darrisaw, he is some people had him as the best offensive lineman in the draft. And so just having him there at 11 just made too much sense. He would be the best available at that time, and they don't need another receiver, guys.
Look, you have Jalen Waddle available. You might as well go after, or not Jalen Waddle. If you have Devontae Smith available, you might as well go after Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle if he's available. So, but at pick number 13, you actually have the Chargers going Caleb Farley. which I think you have higher than even J.C. Horn. So why do you have him ahead of, I guess, the other corners?
Everything that I was reading says he was one of the better cornerbacks available. I really think that the Chargers need safeties more than cornerbacks. But again, that was something that they needed a little bit more depth on was that secondary. Picking up a cornerback, you can move one of them to safety or even just help building up that core. So that's why I went with Caleb Farley there.
Okay. And then Aziz Ojulari to the Vikings. I'm pretty high on him too, but I guess why do you think the Vikings take a swing at Aziz Ojulari?
Because definitely their defense fell a little bit, especially from what it has been. Aziz Ojulari is one of my favorite defenders in the draft going right now, and that would just be a nice little addition. They're getting a better pass rush going for that team.
Absolutely. And then you have the Patriots taking Trey Lance. A lot of, I guess he's fallen a little bit more than what a lot of people think Trey Lance is going to fall. So I guess what makes you think that he falls to 15, and why do you think the Patriots take a swing at him?
Well, this is definitely something that I see the Patriots moving up for to pick up Trey Lance, just because, I mean, this is a very quarterback-heavy first round.
Yeah.
There's definitely some fear there that he goes quicker than what they're wanting. But I'm also kind of hoping that people see, hey, he's a quarterback from North Dakota State. Carson Wentz is also a quarterback from North Dakota State who hasn't had the greatest last 2 years. So maybe people are a little scared of him because of that. But I just like that fit of Trey Lance sitting behind Cam Newton for a little bit, learning under Belichick. Plus, the Patriots have a weird history with quarterbacks who went to college in that kind of northern middle area of the United States. And so definitely adding Trey Lance there would just be and also they've needed a quarterback. They're not going to draft 15th or higher again in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why not, if he's available, or even making that move to pick him up there?
Right. Alrighty. And then you have at 19, you have Jason Owe going to Penn State. I guess my question is, why do you have him going to Washington?
Well, he's not going to Penn State. He already went to Penn.
He's going to Washington,
Washington,
guys.
yes.
You see,
I was like, wait, we right there.
Yeah. No, that defensive line is scary. Being an Eagles fan, we played it twice this year, or this last season. We'll play it twice every year for the foreseeable future. Definitely the main reason why we lost week 1 after being up 17-0. And then why we couldn't do anything against them in week 17. And so, I mean, always adding depth to it, because there's always there was some question marks in there a little bit. And so just adding some depth, because also when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they had like 28 people on their defensive line that they were continually trading out play by play. So it definitely does not hurt to get depth in certain positions, and having Jason Owe there, it makes sense. And I do need to correct you on something.
yeah,
You were off on my pick 17 for the Raiders.
I saw I had two different players. I had both J.C. Horn and I had Justin Fields on there. I forgot to erase. I'm assuming it was J.C. Horn. I forgot to erase.
No, I have them picking Justin Fields.
Yeah, because I'll pull it up again. Because I had at 17, I had J.C. Horn, and how I was doing it was I would copy paste so I can adjust people around. So yeah, Justin Fields to the Raiders. That is my I guess I'll go to that one before we go to my 21 to 32. Why do you have them taking a quarterback?
So with the news of Justin Fields battling epilepsy,
Mhm.
as a person who has battled epilepsy in the past,
Mhm.
it does hinder a lot of what you can and cannot do. And there's a reason you don't hear of a lot of NFL players battling epilepsy. Um, and so I definitely see him falling because of it. Um, as someone who has battled it,
Mhm.
you don't have to let seizures run your life.
Right.
It is something that you can battle and win. Um, and yeah, you're gonna have some rough days, but
Mhm.
um, definitely the Raiders are also one of those teams that just have the weirdest drafts. Um, I mean, they have Carr, they have Mariota, they have no offensive line after having a great offensive
Yeah.
line. So
Yeah.
why not just pick up Justin Fields, who is sitting there?
Yeah, might as well. I wouldn't
Yeah,
blame him if he falls to 17 for sure. You might as well
yeah.
take him. Because who knows how long Derek Carter's going to be there. But I do want to go now to our final picks. This is 21 to 32. It starts with me. Like I said, this is a very accurate, draft that I'm having right now. This mock draft will 100% be how it ends up being. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. At 21, the only team that matters on this list, I have the Colts taking Jason Oweh from Penn State. 22, I have the Titans going with Greg Newsome. At 3, I have the Jets taking Azeez Ojulari. At 24, I have the Steelers going Najee Harris. At 5, I have the Jaguars going Trevor Moehrig. I believe I said his last name right. 26, I have the Brownies taking Christian Barmore. 7, Ravens take Rashad Bateman. At 28, the Saints are taking Elijah Moore. At 29, Asante Samuel Jr. is going to the Packers. 30th, Gregory Rousseau going to the Bills. 31, Samuel Cosme going to the Chiefs. And then because it really doesn't matter, the Buccaneers take Elijah Molden, safety from Washington. So I will say the one pick that I was really struggling with even today was 21 and 23. I had Azeez Ojulari at one point going to Indy at 21. And then I was thinking about it. And with Jason Oweh, there's something about him where his talent, he has something unteachable in him. Did he have any sacks last year? No. Does it matter? No. You're playing with DeForest Buckner. That attention is going to be on DeForest Buckner. He's going to get sacks. And he's super fast. He ran a 4.3 40-yard dash or something like that. Like he's super fast for an edge. That's honestly to me the number one need for Indy. Left tackle's another need, but you can get that in second round, I believe. So I do believe, assuming they stay at 21, it's not going to happen. Colts are going to take Jason Oweh. I love Azeez Ojulari. I love the way he plays. And the Jets, I think that's one of the needs they're going to have to fill. So you might as well go ahead and get your edge right now because you're not going to get as good of an edge in round 2 or 3, even though I do like Basham. But, by the time they, are ready to pick him, he might not be available. Titans need help in the secondary. So Greg Newsome, I think that definitely fills that need. I like him a lot too. He has potential to be a pretty good corner in the league. Steelers, I think to go Najee Harris. One of their needs now that James Conner is gone is running back. You got to take Najee Harris at this point because this guy is going to be great in the NFL. I don't know if he's going to be top 5 great, but he's going to be great. The Brownies, they need help on the defensive line, especially in the interior. Throw in Barmore, that's going to help him out because he'll get to play with Myles Garrett. I mean, who wouldn't want to? Ravens need help in receiving. That's why I have Bateman going to the Ravens because who do they have? A injured old, Sammy Watkins, Hollywood Brown that had a step down from the previous season. They have a good tight end, but that's about it with Mark Andrews. And then Saints, they need a receiver. They lost some help on the offensive side of things, so that's why they go receiver here, I believe. Packers need corner help, and I went Elijah Moore because there really isn't a lot of needs for the Buccaneers. Safety is probably the one I would say they should go after. He's a really good safety, so might as well go for him now. You don't need receivers. You don't need running backs. Your offensive line is pretty much set. Defense is pretty much set outside of safety, so that's why I have them going there. So now I'm going to go to Jacob, and then I'll go through some of his picks, have him explain why, and then while he explains why, I gotta feed my dog because apparently he's throwing a bowl around the house. But he has the Colts taking Tyson Campbell, corner from Georgia. Then Jalen Phillips he has going to the Titans. Then Kadarius Toney going to the Jets at 23. Then Tevin Jenkins going to the Steelers at 24. And then Trevor Moehrig at 25 going to the Jags. The Brownies are taking Jeremiah Osua-Koromora from Notre Dame. The Ravens take Zaven Collins at 27. Asante Samuel Jr., you're going to the Saints at 28. Packers get Jalen Mayfield at 29. Bills get Travis Etienne at 30. Chiefs take Joseph Asai at 31. And Rashad Bateman goes to the Bucs at 32. So this is a Colts channel. With the show on as well. The Brownies need linebackers, I agree, but they also need defensive line help too, because you got Myles Garrett, but you need some help there too. But I agree. You can definitely get a linebacker in the second round based on my mock draft. But I'm going to let you explain why you think the Colts go corner at 21. And then I believe you also – and then I'll let you explain Kadarius Toney, who I love. Going to the Jets. So why do you think the Colts go Tyson Campbell? I'll be right back.
Okay. I will let you be back. I do also want to point out something. Bruce in the comments saying that the Browns need a linebacker. Matt, you are insane for what you just said when you said that they also need defensive line. You're forgetting they just signed Jadeveon Clowney, who is there to help with the line. But whatever, we're not there yet. The biggest reason why I said the Colts picking up Tyson Campbell, I feel that was their biggest issue, was their secondary this season, especially going into that playoff game against the Bills. They had issues with stopping Josh Allen from being able to make the throws. You also made the comment that you're hoping they pick up Tevin Jenkins at offensive line. Their offensive line is scary as it is. Their offense is great.
Fine.
Yeah. So that's again, I don't think their secondary is the greatest. It's not bad. They're a really good team, a pretty complete team too. So it was just, hey, we need to take the best person available, but really focusing on the secondary. So that's why I was going with Tyson Campbell there. And then with the Jets, Kadarius Toney, we just picked up Zach Wilson, second pick of the draft. Let's get him a nice, fun toy at wide receiver. So that's what Kadarius Toney was for that one. Since you're not back, I'm going to go ahead and keep going. I will say, Matt, you're also a little weird with Najee Harris being your only running back picked up, because the best running back available is Travis Etienne, who I have going to Buffalo. As I was kind of saying earlier, today I was really struggling. The last 12 picks, the ones we're going over right now, there are definitely some things that I would trade on there. Travis Etienne is one. I don't think he's going to be that low. When I made this part of the mock draft, it was about a month ago. So it was before James Conner signed with the Cardinals. So right now I have Pittsburgh taking Tevin Jenkins, offensive line of Oklahoma State. Still not a bad pick, but Etienne is more than likely going to be there at that point. I could definitely see them picking up Etienne. And then also with Baltimore, I have them taking Zaven Collins at linebacker. They're another team that I could see. They just lost Mark Ingram. they could definitely pick up another running back. But again, I made this a while ago before I was thinking, and my thinking with Buffalo picking up a running back, their offense and defense has been great. Their running game, Devin Singletary is great, but he definitely needs some help. And so picking up a running back there would not be bad, whether it is ETN or if he gets picked up later, Najee Harris from Bama would be another good fit for that team.
Definitely. So I had to feed my dog and let him out and whatnot. So sorry about that. But
Matt, I do want to tell you one thing real quick.
Yes.
I said it earlier, but you were gone, so you could not hear me. What you were saying with the Browns needing a defensive line, they just picked up Jadeveon Clowney.
But he's worthless.
Like they
he's not great.
They just signed another lineman.
Well, he's not great.
So yes,
He's
they
only
need
there
help
a year.
on defense. Let's get them more help than just the line, because they need help other places.
True, but I mean, look, Clowney he'll try hard on first down, maybe second down, and then he'll take a break on third down. So that's why
Myles Garrett's for.
But yeah, but still, I think he's only going to be there for a year. That's his whole thing. He signs 1-year contracts. He did that last year, and then he did that this season. I forgot he got traded to Seattle. He didn't sign with Seattle. So that's why, personally, for me, if you go defensive line here at 26 with them, at least you have a backup plan too, and you have a good starter there. So, and plus, I think they can get linebacker solved in the second round. So it's like, might as well go defensive line first. But I guess the last one I want to go to, unless you already talked about him, is Rashad Bateman to the Buccaneers. I guess why do you think Tampa takes a receiver here?
Yep. So this is not one that I talked about. Tampa, of course, were able to sign just about everyone who was on that team, except for one big name, and that is Antonio Brown.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those, hey, the Buccaneers don't really need anybody.
Right.
So it's just, hey, who's the best person available at that point?
Right.
There are some big names on there, but Rashad Bateman will be the best wide receiver available if they don't trade away that pick, which I see them doing. Getting Rashad Bateman, having more depth, because receivers are great to have, especially because they lost Antonio Brown. Definitely would like to pick someone up to take over for him, to give them that 15th option based on who they have already.
True. Yeah.
Yes.
That is true. I hope they don't take receiver here. That would be lovely if they decided not to go receiver, because they don't need anybody else. But no.
They don't need to draft anybody.
Yeah, they don't need anybody, period. They could trade all their picks. Just trade all their picks for like next year, and then get like a quarterback next year or whatever.
Yeah, get the first overall pick for next year's draft.
Yeah, just trade every pick this year and a couple picks next year, and then you're good to go. You got your new rookie
and then they can
quarterback.
Pick up a quarterback. Yeah,
absolutely. So now I'm going to go to Jonathan real quick. We're going to go through his 21 to 32 as I pull it up on my phone. That way I can just read it. So at pick 21, he actually has Rashad Bateman going to the Colts. He has Greg Newsome going to the Titans at 22. Gregory Rousseau going to the Jets at 23. Samuel Cosme going to the Steelers at 24. The Jags go Caleb Farley here at 25. Brownies are going to go Christian Barmore at 26. Ravens go Kadarius Toney at 27. Saints go Terrace Marshall Jr. at 28. Jalen Mayfield at 29 to the Packers. Jason Owe going to the Bills at pick number 30. 31, Liam Eichenberg going to the Chiefs. And 32, Rondale Moore going to the Buccaneers. So, like I said, when I was, letting Jacob explain his picks first, this is a Colts channel. So a lot of the people that watch this are Colts fans, FYI. So there is some pressure. So why do you think they take Rashad Bateman? Really good receiver, but why do you have them going Rashad Bateman?
I looked at their roster, and really, they were legit a complete team. So this is the one I looked at as like basically was sort of the best at depth or was the best player available. So that's the reason I have chosen a weapon for Carson Wentz to get Rashad Bateman along with receiving core with Hilton and Michael Pittman. And I think they have a very good receiving core if they add a receiver like that. So this one was more like a depth piece sign draft pick. So that's the reason why I go with Rashad Bateman.
Okay. I guess the next guy we'll talk about, and well, I'll say real quick, I really appreciate it, but there are still some holes we need to fill up in Indy. There is the left tackle because we did lose Costanzo and whatnot. But hey, it's a deep class, so we'll get Costanzo's replacement probably in round 2. Brownies. There's the Brownies. Yeah, go Browns. I think the Browns are gonna be good next year. And then Anthony Hurst saying, Papa West just chilling. What's up, y'all? Ready to see what Ballard's going to stir up. I agree.
I'm on a very comfy couch.
It looks very comfy. It's a very comfy couch.
I have a comfy mattress.
Absolutely. And I have this nice chair that I'm sitting on. But now there are some holes to fill. But I'll tell you what, if they can get Rashad Bateman on that team, I would love that. So the next pick I want to look at for you is I guess you have let me see, I like a lot of these. I can see a lot of these happening, but Gregory Rousseau going to the Jets. I think just like me, I think I also had the Jets taking a defensive lineman with this pick. Yeah, I did. So I guess with Gregory Rousseau, why do you see him being the best option for the Jets here?
It's very obvious. Like second over, you get Zach Wilson, get your franchise quarterback, but I can see like Robert Saleh, a defensive mind itself from San Francisco, getting like a defensive player to help with that defense. So that's the reason I take him to Gregory Rousseau because he did very well for his years for the 49ers, playing with defense like Bosa, DeForest Buckner, and Eric Armstead with that rest of that core and that front line and front forward that defense. So I thought like get someone like Gregory Rousseau to help to elevate that with that D line.
Absolutely. And then another pick I want to throw out because this one's kind of a surprise for me too, and this would be crazy if they go with it. But Liam Eichenberg to the Chiefs. A lot of people have him projected maybe going second round, but why do you think he sneaks into the first round?
That one is more like a not definitely, but it's more like a need for the Chiefs. Their offensive tackle, pretty much majority of the top tackles have been sort of been taken. Like basically, Devin Jenkins is gone, Sammy Cosby's gone. Pretty much the top 2 tackles are kind of gone around that time. So I would just want to what was the next tackle available, and I can see them maybe trade back to get a tackle itself, but at the same time, they just get the tackle right now to get it out of the way. So my next player up there was Liam Eichenberg. So pretty much you lost like Michael Schwartz and Eric Fisher. So you need someone to protect that line to have fix them up a bit.
True. Yeah, I mean, he could sneak up. He's definitely, I guess, one of the more underrated tackles in his class, looking at his numbers. And then I guess the last guy I'll bring up, you also have the Buccaneers taking a receiver, but you have Rondale Moore going 32. I believe Jacob had him going a little earlier. I didn't even have him in my first round. But why do you think Buccaneers go Rondale Moore here?
Like Papa has said, they don't really need everybody. So, and even though talking about clear up, he just recently basically the legal issues kind of sort of cleared up, but at the same time, let's just add more depth in that receiving core. Like maybe add Rondale Moore if or AB decides to come back with a team though. So it's like get sort of like an oh shit button from the receiving core. It's mainly third down plays under the middle, so I can see him like go over secondary along with that receiving core. And besides, if they really draft him, we got a little 2 words. We're fucked.
Yeah, definitely. And I would really like it, Anthony, if they do. I like I said, I think Eichenberg is a second round guy. Because I think by that point, I think a lot of the teams that need that left tackle will probably go left tackle in the second round. Unless like one of the big three are available, or even maybe they want to go Cosme and take a shot on him, because I think Cosme has all the intangibles you need. But yeah, I love it. But I don't know if it's going to happen necessarily. But they're probably going to trade back anyway, so they'll probably get him pretty early if they want to. But there we have it, guys. There is our mock drafts. So before we go, I want to kind of go by everybody and ask them, what would be the biggest shock outside of like a Trevor Lawrence not being drafted number 1 or Zach Wilson not number 2? So Jacob, I'll go to you first. I guess for the Eagles, we'll go for our teams. Who would you be surprised to draft or see the Eagles draft?
Really, at this point, there's nothing that wouldn't surprise me. I think that the biggest surprise is if we trade out of the first round, unless some miraculous way we get a king's ransom from it, because we have a lot of holes right now, and so there's. The biggest thing, I'd be surprised if we picked up a running back, whether it is ETN or Najee Harris. I wouldn't be surprised if we picked up a receiver, which is what I picked. I wouldn't be surprised if we picked up someone on defense. I wouldn't be surprised if they picked up a quarterback. Running back, though, or tight end. Running back or tight end, those would confuse me. Or just trading everything in general.
All right. So now I'll go to Jonathan. What would you be surprised by if the football team made a certain pick?
If, let's just say it's a what-if scenario, like 1 or 2 of the QBs falls down to the 7-8 range, which lines via Panthers. Don't be surprised if they were willing to trade up in the draft. Like, trade first round next year and a second round for this year. In our spot, first round this year. To trade up. I could see like a bad hand in the teens, surprising maybe trade up around that range if one of the QBs they like falls down in that range. That would be not sort of a surprise, but also very telling at the same time. And the one surprise that I'm actually going to treat 1 or 2 picks that you got was the Steelers might get a running back in the first round, but their real problem is they need to fix their O-line first because Marquis Pouncey retired. So that's my thoughts on that.
All right.
Take a running back.
There you go. And then for me, I think for the Colts anyway, the biggest surprise for me is, and I know I know Jonathan, you had him going receiver, but I would be really surprised if they go wide receiver with that pick, because I actually think the receiving core is pretty much set. Ty, he's going to, be good for them. I think Michael Pittman's going to have a big year. If Paris Campbell can stay healthy, that's going to be scary. And then, we have a lot of receivers, I think, on the team that can be really good. Thank you. And then you used to you're from Indy. You're in Louisiana now. Been Miss Snaptown. I love Indy. Anytime I can get to Indy, I love it. It's a great it's a great city. If you haven't been there, go to it. It's wonderful. But yeah, I'd be shocked to go receiver just because I think that and I know Jim Irsay said, an explosive receiver tight end would be great. You're not getting Kyle Pitts at all unless you trade everything to get Kyle Pitts. That's just not going to happen. But really, I think left tackle, edge rush, maybe corner are probably the biggest needs. So if they go wide receiver or quarterback, that would be the biggest surprise. But hey, I mean, if Justin Fields falls to 21, I'm not going to be upset if they take him. I mean, it would be Philadelphia all over again for Carson Wentz. Yeah, but we do need a quarterback, and I do think they're going to take a quarterback late in the draft, like 6th round, 7th round, just so they can get their third quarterback. I don't really see anybody else out there that they'll go after necessarily. So, but yeah, there we go, guys. Thank you for watching. If you're new, please click the subscribe button. It would help out a lot if you did so. Also, click that bell icon so you're notified when a video goes up, as well as when we go live. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Comment below. Let me know and let these guys know your thoughts on our mock drafts. Do you agree with them? Are they great? Are they terrible? Let me know down below. And before we go, I'm going to go by everybody real quick. I'm going to go to Jacob first. Jacob, where can the people find you?
You can find me all over the place. I'm a big guy. I'm easy to find. Facebook, Jacob E. West, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. 307 Jakob, that's YAHKOB. And I do also help out a lot with TMG Entertainment and TMG Trivia over on Facebook and YouTube.
Absolutely. And before we go to Jonathan, I agree as long as it like first round wise. Unless for some reason Kyle Pitts is available, and I think if they drafted tight in the first round, he would be full. But fourth round, I think that can be something possible too, because Jack Doyle's in his 30s now. Might as well go for tight end of the future with Molly Cox. But now I'm going to go to Jonathan. Where can the people find you at?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Chipet1098, and also you can find me on Facebook at Jonathan Peck. I usually write down the questions around TMG trivia, a little low-keyly, it will help up some punch-up rights. So, come if you're very interested on trivia of everything. Come to TMG Trivia Nerd Entertainment Network. So that's pretty much it.
Alrighty, and you can find me, of course, on here, uploading videos pretty much every day. Once again, we will be doing a live stream next week on Thursday, 7:30. We'll be talking about the draft. We'll be reacting to the draft, all that good stuff. Will the Eagles take a quarterback? Will they take a receiver? Will Howie Roseman make a good decision in the draft? We'll find out. And where will Washington go? And, of course, do the Colts even pick in the first round? Odds are they're trading out of the first round because Chris Ballard loves his picks. But then you can also find me on TMG Entertainment. I am on After Dark. So, it's just our hangout show where we just hang out, talk movies, whatever else. We're going to be talking briefly about the EDP situation because it's a YouTube thing and, it's pretty big news for YouTube. And then you can also find me on the show, Cancel This Show, on TMG as well, with me, Alan Shepard. We get a little more political there. So if you're into the politics, make sure you check out that show. So thank you all for watching. That's been Jacob. That's been Jonathan. I've been Matt. Bleed Blue. And we'll see you next time. As I click the end broadcast. Bye-bye.